some of your clients will push back when AI answers the phone. And that is true for every vendor in this category, including us. This video is the rollout plan that agencies use so that pushback only lasts 2 weeks instead of killing the whole project. I'm Sergio from Sonant, and we build the AI Receptionist for insurance agencies exclusively. We've run this rollout with hundreds of agencies, so what you're about to see is real patterns from deployment, not theory. Here is the failure story that this plan exists to prevent. An owner buys an AI voice, and he flips it on for every single line by Monday. By Friday, 3 of his long-term clients have already complained. 2 CSRs are saying, "I told you so," and the tool quietly gets shelved. In almost every one of those stories, the tool was not the problem. The rollout was. One agency principal told us her fear word by word. She said, "I can handle the pushback. I just don't want to roll this out and face plant, because then they get to be right." And that is the real dynamic. Your staff are resistant to change, just like everyone's staff are resistant to change. Your job is not to convince them upfront, it's to never hand them a disaster they can point at. So here is a sequence that does exactly that. In 5 steps. Step 1 is to start on overflow, not the front line. Don't make the AI voice the first thing anyone hears on the first day. Instead, forward it to the main line after the second or third ring, or use it for after hours only. Your receptionist keeps answering like she always has, and the AI only answers the ones that go to voicemail anyway. That is the whole trick, because nobody can complain about a call that was answered by nobody at all. For those first couple of weeks, you fix the wording, you read the transcripts, and you quietly build internal proof before a single primary call is ever touched. Once overflow is running clean, the question becomes, what does AI should actually do in those calls? And the answer is less than you think. Step 2 is to scope it down at the start. Actually, the first version of your agent should not resolve everything. Start with it like a front desk person does on a normal call. It identifies the caller, figures out what they need, and routes them to the right account manager. That's it. And that approach gets almost no client pushback, because from the client's side, the experience is, I said what I needed and I got to the right person faster than usual. Then, once the routing has run clean, you expand from there. Payments, certificate requests, claims intake, one workflow at a time. But even with a scoped down agent, there's a group of people who should never be part of this experiment at all. Which brings us to step number 3. Step 3 is to protect your VIPs from day 1. Every agency has clients that should never talk to an AI. Period. Put them on a bypass list before you launch. So whenever their numbers calls in, they skip the agent entirely and they ring through to their account manager. Exactly the same as always. Also, your producers already know who these people are. So collect that list in the kickoff call. But here's why this step punches above its weight. It removes most of the internal objections in one setting, because those accounts your team are most protective of are literally untouched. Now, if you are a single office agency, you can move straight to the voice setup. But if you have multiple locations, where you launch first matters as much as how. Step 4 is to pilot your office deliberately. Let's say if you have multiple locations, you're not going to pilot where the call volume is the highest. Instead, you're going to pilot where the conditions are forgiving. That means a tenured team that won't panic at the first hiccup. And ideally an office that's already missing a receptionist. So the AI is filling a gap, not replacing a person. One multi-office agency that we worked with chose exactly that setup. An office with an open front desk seat and staff that had been there for years. You work the kinks out in that environment, and then you take the working version to your more resistant locations with receipts in hand. At that point, there's only one thing left between you and going live, and It's what agencies fear the most. Step 5 is to fix the voice before launching, not after. This is because most of the client will hate it fear comes from the voice may sound like a robot, but that part is configurable. You pick up the voice, the pacing, the personality, and the greeting. So sit in the portal and audition voices until one of them sounds like your agency. Slower and warmer if you serve a long tenured book. Quick and sharper if you're a metro commercial shop. But do this before going live, not as reaction to complaints, because the dull AI robotic voice is actually something you can change and most people don't bother about doing so. Run those 5 steps and here's how your first 60 days actually look like. Weeks 1 and 2, the AI runs overflow and after hours only, and you read the transcripts daily. Weeks 3 and 4, routing goes live on the main line at your pilot office, with your VIPs bypassed the entire time. Month 2, you start adding resolution workflows and expanding to other offices. And yes, a handful of clients will still grumble at first, but then they'll notice they stopped sitting on hold, and it fades. On top of that, what your team remembers is not the grumbling, it's otherwise that nothing broke. If you want this rollout scoped for your agency specifically, meaning which offices go first, what stays human, who goes on the bypass list, you can book a demo at sonant.ai and we'll map it out live on the call.